Good evening, I'm student meteorologist Ariana Wittick here with your Friday edition of FSU weather. Live look at Doak right now. We have the sun's beginning to set with temperatures at 78 and winds at 9 miles an hour. Temperatures around the area are pretty similar with temperatures in the lower 80s and upper 70s. Our muggy meter, it is going to be a dry day out there. It was a good pool day. Actually, it wasn't very humid, so that made for some really nice beach conditions. Tonight in Tallahassee, it is going to be 50 degrees, mostly clear skies and calm winds. It is going to be a lovely night to see the stars out there. Coming up on FSU weather, we're going to see rain chances returning next week, winter weather and fire weather in the U.S. We may even see some icicles, but probably not. We're not that deep into winter. Some super fog has tragically taken lives in South Florida. All this and more on FSU weather.
Good evening, Tallahassee. I hope you guys have taken advantage of some of that nice weather we've been having. I know I have.
Absolutely. It was absolutely beautiful today. Got a nice jog out there. Saw all the people in Landis. Really, people are enjoying it.
It's a great time. So along with that, it's been very hot, 80s, which I personally love coming from the north. How about you?
I'm from South Florida, but I know you must love it being from Michigan.
Yes, so that heat has been accompanied by, strangely, extremely dry dew points as well.
Yeah, the National Weather Service, they're talking about dew points in the 20s and prompting fire weather concerns.
We actually have a couple of wildfires going on right now. There's one in Bay County, unfortunately, and another, Tallahassee, the fire department is responding to one on Thomasville Road.
All right, yeah, we'll keep tuned. Maybe follow social media, and hopefully the fires stay in check. There is some relief on the way, but for the week ahead, it's really just going to stay sunny.
Yep, and I am loving that. So we're going to hope that you guys can all take advantage of that sunny and beautiful condition that's going to remain through the week until we get some rain at the end of the week.
And now we're going to head over to our weather forecast.
That's right. A very warm and dry day across much of the area. Today actually started off pretty average, around 49 degrees there as our low temperature, but we did warm up into the middle 80s, so 85 was our high, which is pretty warm for this time of year. I mean, we're talking above 10 degrees from the high temperature today. As for that live look over Doak Campbell Stadium, it is a lovely sunset right there behind the stadium with the sun right there setting behind really the nice blue sky we have today. And of course, we're under that 78 degrees, so really a touch cooler, but we haven't seen much in terms of any cooling down because we really are going maybe about an hour or so past the actual peak time of the day where we see those warmer temperatures across our area. As for our current radar, you can actually see a little bit of a sea breeze front right there making its way into Georgia right there, just past Tallahassee, and we'll see more of this on the dew point as well. But this is all moving towards the northeast, but nothing in the way of showers, any sharp activity. This is just showing some of the rain particles you might see up in the air, and then the rest of this over towards Panama City is actually just ground clear, and then this right here is actually an ongoing wildfire there on Highway 231 there near Lynn Haven in Panama City there in Bay County, as Becca mentioned earlier. As for our local temperatures, temperatures right now are in the upper 70s to low 80s. Our cool spot right now is down in Appalachia, where it's down to 71 degrees right now along the coast with that sea breeze as it is moving inland currently, which is dropping these temperatures down below 80 degrees. As for our wind speed and direction, all the really wind arrows are coming in out of the south right there. So it's what's allowing for that cooler, a little bit slightly cooler, and of course more windier conditions we saw earlier today, where it was pretty much saturated and it just sat there. Of course, it wasn't humid, but yeah. So we're seeing conditions anywhere about 5 to 10 miles per hour on average or so across the Big Bend. As for our dew points, you can actually see right there where that sea breeze is making its way over to the Florida-Georgia border, I should say. So a little bit more humid as you go from Tallahassee southward towards the coast, but then places like Thomasville over to Donaldsville sitting in the 30s for the dew point. As for our future radar, we'll see those conditions stay pretty dry. Might see a little bit of fog, especially as you get towards I-75 there, off towards the east, but should be a pretty sunny day across much of the Panhandle. As for the week ahead, temperatures will continue to stay pretty fairly warm as we get into this weekend, but of course rain chances do come back up, so don't forget that umbrella, Evan, as you go on Monday or Wednesday next week.
That's right. People going home for spring break might be impacted due to that rain and those storms next weekend, as spring break is right around the corner. Next week, or the week after next week, is spring break, so make sure you are making your travel plans accordingly. Big picture right now, we do have some dual low pressure systems out west, and this is associated with a trough coming down like this, and we also have a ridge here in the east like this. So we have warmer than average temperatures in the east, cooler than average temperatures in the west, and that's also helping with the drought conditions out west as well. Here's that satellite and radar picture for you right now. There again is that wide shield of rain and snow showers in the upper elevations. So again, that's helping out with those long persisting drought periods that they've had out west for all those years now. So hopefully this will start to mend all that damage that drought has done and make an improvement as we head towards wildfire season over the summer. Here again is that low pressure system. We have one over here down by Las Vegas, and we have another one swirling offshore right now off the coast of southern Oregon. You can see that counterclockwise rotation there with those mid-latitude cyclones. As we head towards the northeast, very clear day out there today. It's a little chilly though. We have temperatures that are in the 30s right now in places like New York and Boston, so you might see some icicles there, although we don't have any falling snow except for this lake effect snow band coming off of Lake Ontario right now. But very clear day out there to enjoy. You will need that winter jacket out there in the northeast. Southeast, similar story, but much warmer than the northeast. We do have those dry conditions persisting for much of the area in the southeast, and we do have, as Aaron said, that wildfire down by Panama City Beach. So make sure that you are being out of the way of that and evacuating if necessary in Panama City Beach. Big picture right now, again, you can see that big ridge of high pressure and that warmth that we have across much of the eastern half of the country right now. And again, you won't see any icicles in any of this area. We have those springtime temperatures, 65 there in Denver, 69 in Kansas City, a little bit cooler in Chicago at 38 right now. And again, this lows compared to average for Saturday morning really depicts that ridge really well. Temperatures are well above average, stretching all the way towards Minneapolis and Detroit tomorrow morning, with temperatures in Chicago maybe 20 degrees above normal, so really feeling those springtime temperatures there. And again, off to the west, we have those cooler than average temperatures associated with that trough digging down like this in the desert southwest. And again, with those dew points, you kind of see the same thing here. We have that high pressure sitting here, and we have that clockwise rotation, and that's bringing up that moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. And we have that green thumb in Texas. We usually see that for Florida this time of the year, but we have that green thumb in Texas today, with dew points sitting in the upper 50s right now in Dallas, Fort Worth, and San Antonio. And that'll eventually slide towards the east, and that'll help to moisten our atmosphere and get rid of those drier conditions that we've had in Florida the past couple of days. And again, on the water vapor, you can see that big mid-latitude cyclone here spinning near Las Vegas, and again off the coast of Oregon and California right now. And that will start to move towards the east, and that'll actually set up our severe threat that we have for tomorrow, but I'll get to that in a second. And again, on the drought monitor, you can see we do have drier than average conditions in Tallahassee. That'll start to change next week. We can get those rain chances back. And again, in the west, widespread drought conditions, but that rain is definitely helping, so hopefully we can go down a category or two with the drought monitor. And again, here it is on that real rainfall forecast. Places in the desert southwest could get up to maybe half an inch to maybe an inch and a half of rain in that blue color. We also do have those heavier totals where that severe threat exists tomorrow and Sunday, with those bullseye right there of 1 to 2.5 inches of rain. There again is that storm outlook for tomorrow, or for today. If I can get my clicker to work, there's that severe threat tomorrow, so make sure you have a heads up there in Iowa. And tomorrow looks great as well. Warm conditions again in the southeast, cooler in the west, but what do you think, Hayden? I think people around here, we're going to like those temperatures nice and warm in Tallahassee.
Yes, thanks, Evan. Absolutely. I think we are just going to take it. Of course, we don't want those fires, but the weather besides that is quite scintillating. Speaking of scintillating, Atlanta, Georgia, 74. Gainesville, 80 degrees. Definitely no icicles popping up there. And then a little bit cooler up in the mountains of the Appalachians in Blacksburg, Virginia, 51, but still well above average for this time of the year. Looking at our satellite and radar, nothing but clear skies dominating the area, with a few sprinkles coming in with the easterlies winds off the coast of Florida. And of course, we see our next playmaker with the low pressure going across and riding the northern part of our ridge. But overall, the southeast is going to be anchored. You see precipitation really doesn't build in until Monday across Little Rock and Nashville, and then it slowly builds down into western Florida by Tuesday. And Tallahassee will have starting just to get the slightest of rains. But we can expect a Sunday to Tuesday progression of the rain as our fronts kind of sag down into the region. But for right now, nothing to worry about, nothing but sunshine. 89 in Tampa, 86 in Orlando. So you're in the theme parks, make sure you do bring that sunblock. Stay hydrated out there. Tallahassee, 82 degrees. Tupelo, Mississippi, 80 degrees. And of course, Little Rock, being our little exception, having some cloudy skies. It's still pretty warm at 76, so I'm sure those Little Rockians are not complaining. Dew point-wise, very dry across the majority of the southeast. Montgomery, 35. Tallahassee, 45 with a little bit more moisture near the coastline. And of course, southeast Florida being the exception, with Miami being 61, which actually is not too bad for Miami. They're always in the 70s, so maybe they're feeling a little bit of a reprieve from that humidity. And of course, Texas, we can see it funneling up from our next system coming out ahead. So for a water vapor image, Tallahassee, you can see that sinking air and substance associated with that brown shading. And then, of course, even the southeast, it's not quite reaching the surface yet. It's just some upper-level clouds. And then up by Wichita and St. Louis, we are seeing a couple of showers with that water vapor. Anyways, future radar, sunshine dominating across our entire area all the way through Sunday afternoon and Sunday morning. You can see it starts off in Memphis and it stalls up around the Kentucky border. And then that'll slowly start to sag down. As for the storm outlook, nothing coming up on your Friday, day 1. Day 2 forecast, you can see it edging into Memphis with some general thunderstorms, with just a slight risk getting into St. Louis outside of our southeast region. And of course, day 3 on Sunday will be the big day outlook. Make sure you have your weather radio. We have a slight forecast, some strong winds, and maybe an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. Anyways, for tonight, dropping off with cool skies under sunny conditions and clear at 50. Tomorrow's highs going into the upper to mid 80s for most of the southeast, being quite warm. Now we're going to transition over to our next segment.
That's right, and that's right. No icicles here over in Panama City Beach, but that sunshine is abundant there on our camera with the sun setting right behind St. Andrews Bay there in Bay County. As for our satellite and radar across the state, it is bone dry across really much of the area. It's not until we get to the very southern part of the Florida Peninsula, so down near the Keys, where you might see perhaps a shower or two, really between about Miami down to about Key West. As for our Panhandle radar, we could see it is once more dry across the I-10 corridor, with maybe some scattering of the radar over out in the Gulf of Mexico, but those aren't in the way of any shower activity as well. As for our friends in Central and South Florida, that's that right now I was mentioning earlier right there, just around the Keys. So Key Largo all the way down to about Key West right there is seeing some of those rain showers, including places like Isla Morada and other places down there. Our current temperatures across the state are pretty warm. I mean, we're seeing 80s across really the I-75 corridor all the way down to about Miami right there. Along the East Coast, we do have a little bit more of a sea breeze right there coming in from the Atlantic. So 84 degrees there in Orlando, up to 70 or down to 79 degrees there in Jacksonville. And as we make our way over to our friends there in Pensacola, it is 76 degrees. As for our muggy meter, it does show those warm or those humid conditions down in South Florida. So down near Lake Okeechobee, down towards Alligator Alley right there, cutting through between Fort Myers and West Palm Beach there, seeing some humid conditions. And of course, our friends in the Keys are primarily always humid there. But as for us, up north, we're seeing those smiley faces, of course. But I guess it depends on who you are, right? If you like the dry weather, then now is the time, right? So as for our future radar, we'll see this this clockwise swirl around the high pressure right there, making its way across the state. And that's what's going to set us up for that southerly wind coming in off the Gulf of Mexico. That's what eventually is going to increase those humidity levels we get into, say, Saturday and Sunday, into tomorrow and this weekend, really. As for tonight in Florida, it is going to be fairly mild, especially across our area. We're seeing temperatures in the 50s and 60s across the northern portions of the state. It's not until you get down to South Florida, where there's still some humid conditions in place, where you might see more clouds and temperatures still in the 70s across Miami metro area. And there's Miami right there, 80s across through next Monday there, with might see a few showers perhaps, but still relatively low across there. As for Tampa, we'll see temperatures primarily stay up to near 90 degrees. That is very warm right there on Sunday for Tampa right there. It's really low rain chances across much of the weekend, so we're not really seeing much in the way of relief, so maybe a good time to hit the pool or go to the beach there in St. Pete or anywhere near the area. As for Orlando, if you are going out to Disney or any other theme parks, temperatures will remain in the mid to upper 80s to near 90s. So again, we'll need water there. And as for our friends up in Jacksonville, temperatures will be in the low to mid 80s, so still very warm across much of the area. But now we'll turn things back over to the wall with Evan and
Some tragic news coming out of Florida today. Along I-95, we have 3 dead due to a car crash because there was near zero visibility in this region.
That's right. Many miles on I-95 were closed yesterday morning into early this morning due to those crashes, and that was in east central Florida, down by Edgewater. That's 20 miles south of Daytona Beach. Because of that zero visibility, we had something called super fog on I-95. So what exactly is super fog?
Super fog is essentially a mix between smoke and fog that gives near zero visibility and makes it really difficult to see, especially at nighttime. Conditions are going to be much worse.
That's right. It's almost like a snow squall, but in another sense. You do have that zero visibility, and it drops to less than 10 feet. And it's very tough to see through that. It also meanders through low terrain areas, so that also makes it very tough to see.
Passing it on over to the wall for weather alerts with Aaron.
That's right. And we actually have a pretty wide swath of weather alerts, especially off to the western portions of the nation. But we have winter weather advisories, winter storm watches and warnings, and freeze watches even in California as well. So not missing much there in terms of weather advisories. And it is all due to this area of low pressure spinning right there in the Rockies. That's what's kind of helping with the shower activity, shower and snow activity, especially off towards the west here. So Salt Lake City getting in on some of that. Over towards California, they're seeing some rain. And then especially places up in the Cascades and the coastal ranges might actually see some snow as well. So might need to watch out there if you are in northern portions of California. And here we are. You can see those winter storm watches extending from about near Los Angeles all the way up to about the northern California border there with Oregon. But it's a pretty wide swath across the nation here, or across the western portion of the nation, I should say, over towards the plains. But if you're looking for that fire weather, it's of course down over here. So places like Oklahoma, Texas, back over to Albuquerque, New Mexico are seeing some of those fire conditions there. As for the GFS model, it's showing possibly almost 2 feet of snow in some of those upper elevations there in Idaho. So now need your snow boots out here if you are traveling up into the northern Rockies here, or even down over towards the Cascades. But as for our fire weather news, we do have red flag warnings up for portions of the south central plains. Fire weather watches, of course, as well in the same general area, and wind advisories and high wind warnings across the same areas as well. And that's not really helping as well with our drought. We still see that pretty much of a drought as you get further off to the west of the Mississippi River, with places like Texas and Oklahoma, specifically around Amarillo, up towards Kansas there, seeing the bulk of the drought. And of course, they're seeing right now the winter, or I should say the fire weather alerts right now. And as for our water vapor, you can see that drier air making its way in from the northwest right there, coming in from places like Albuquerque and over towards Texas. So no icicles there if you're looking for any there. It'll all be up to the north in the Rockies. And as for, again, our winter, or I should say our fire weather watch and warnings here, mostly across western portions of Texas up to about Kansas. So it is really going to be a very dry conditions out there, so not really advised to go out and have bonfires or anything like that, especially very flammable, which these fires can get way out of control because we see these humidity values down in the 20s. So that's very dry for relative humidity, and that has to do a lot with the dew point being very low and our extra ambient temperature being very high. And that's what's going to allow these fires to really get out of control and can spread very quickly if you're not very careful with that. But I'll have to pass things over to Becca with the next segment.
Thank you. We're going to talk about something that's a little bit more uplifting. We're going to talk about sports, everyone's favorite topic. We have several opportunities to cheer on our Noles this weekend. You can find your sport, pick your poison, and we are hoping for Noles wins for every single one of those. For women's golf on Saturday, we're looking at 57 degrees when they start, and it's going to be 72 at noon, beautiful, and then 80 degrees towards the end, and that is going to be in Augusta, Georgia. If you happen to want to take a little day trip out to Georgia for our beach volleyball, this is in Fort Worth, Texas. That's why those temps are a little bit on the cooler side, cloudy, but not too terrible. You might want a light jacket. It's going to be at 10 a.m. It's going to be 64 degrees. We're at 65 at 11 and 67 at noon. So if you want to go out and support our Noles beach volleyball, I've heard we have a great team. I see them walking to class every day out of the Spirit Garage For our indoor volleyball team, they will be playing at 11:30 a.m. versus UNF, and that will be indoors, but if you happen to be walking there, it is going to be quite warm. So 73 at 11, 76 at noon, and 78 as we move towards after the game. For women's tennis, that is also going to be played against Wake Forest. So we're looking at 61 at noon, 64 at 1, and 67 at 2. If tennis happens to be your sport, it's a great time to get out, enjoy some of that sunshine, and not too hot conditions. For our softball, we have a wonderful softball team. If you'd like to go cheer them on, they're going to be outdoors 1 p.m. It's going to be 78 degrees, 80 at 3, and 79 at 5. Definitely going to be hot, but hopefully you can bring something refreshing in a hat and enjoy the game. For our men's basketball, it's senior night. I hope everyone is enjoying that. So we're looking at 67 for most of the game if you happen to go and want to play that. And last but not least, swimming and diving. That is again indoors. That's going to be in Atlanta. We're looking at 79 degrees at 3 p.m. and that'll continue into 5 p.m. when you're leaving. We're going to pass things over to Evan now. He's going to give us one more look at the local.
That's right. Thanks, Becca. So again, we're going to start with our temperature almanac today. We were very warm today. We got up to 85 degrees, almost beating our record of 86 set back in 1945. We started out a little chilly this morning at 49 degrees, but thankfully we were nowhere near that 21-degree record that we had. I couldn't see that what year that was. But over Bill Campbell Stadium right now, we have 78 degrees, mostly clear skies. Looks like a gorgeous sunset over the stadium right now. We do have that south-southwesterly breeze at 9 miles an hour, so hopefully that's refreshing things out there because it is still a little warm outside. We do have that sea breeze working its way up from the southwest. That'll help to moisten things up with that moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico, and that'll also help to deal with this that we have right here near Panama City. That's not a rain shower. That's unfortunately a wildfire that we've been dealing with this afternoon. That's located around Route 231 in Bay County. So if you're near that area, make sure that you're taking precautions out there and not driving into that wildfire, because that's obviously very dangerous. So make sure that you are evacuating if that is necessary. Current local temperatures around the area still hovering around the 80-degree mark, still above 80 degrees in Madison at 82. We are a little bit cooler down the shore at Apalachicola at 71 right now, but still very warm for this time of the year. And that muggy meter, a lot of smiley faces around here in Florida. We don't see that very often. We do have maybe just a straight face here in Jacksonville, also Miami, with a little bit muggy, but things will start to moisten up as we get that southerly flow back in here, and that'll help to moisten things up. If you're looking for that humidity, it will return as we go towards next week. As for tonight, pretty mild around the area. We are above our average with widespread 50s around the area. Even down the coastline, we have 59s at Carabel and Apalachicola, so very mild there. And if you would like to go to the beach tomorrow, looks like a good day to do that. The water's still a little chilly, so I probably wouldn't want to go in there. But we do have an air temperature of 76 degrees, and the UV index is low at 1, so you won't have to worry about getting that sunburn. As for tonight in Tallahassee, again, 49 degrees and mostly clear skies. As Ariana mentioned before, we do have great stargazing conditions tonight with those calm winds and mostly clear skies. Future radar, not looking like a whole lot. We do have that fog that comes back for our northern and eastern areas tomorrow, so watch out for that. But that will clear off tomorrow, and it looks like another great day. Maybe a touch cooler than today, but still very pleasant out there. As for the week ahead, you can see the weekend looks amazing, low 80s for temperatures, but that rain threat does return early next week with those slight drops in temperature as well. But I don't know, Ariane, I know that Tim McGraw always says, I like it, I love it, I want some more of it. What do you think? Do we want some more of that 80-degree temperatures?
I think we do, and I also want some more of that sunshine. Current radar conditions, we do have, it's currently dry out there with sunny conditions. As Evan pointed out, we do see a fire in Panama City Beach area, which it does look like a rainstorm, but it is not. Tonight in College Town, it is going to be a wonderful time to be outside. It's going to be 54 and mostly clear conditions. That makes it for some really good stargazing conditions. So it is going to be a clear sky out there, and we might get to see the Big and Little Dipper. Airport delays, there are going to be none, which is fabulous news for anybody traveling heading into the spring break week. Similar conditions are going to be throughout the rest of the southeast region with no delays whatsoever. Dance Marathon is this weekend, and some great ways to raise money are throughout the campus. It is going to be 81 degrees and sunny, so even though they're indoors, I'm sure when they go out for their break, they are going to see beautiful sunny conditions. Movie night, it is going to be 57 and mostly clear, which is going to be great if it weren't indoors. But once they head outside from the movie, it's going to be nice conditions for the walk home. Our Kitten Walk forecast, it is going to be sunny conditions throughout the day with temperatures rising up to near 75 in the mid-afternoon. Our future radar, as we can see, there's going to be mostly clear conditions. We're going to see the scattered showers work into the region over on the East Coast. And for our weekend planner, it is going to be sunny across the board, and it is going to be a good weekend. Right, Aaron?
That is right. No need to worry about any of those icicles falling on your head, or which is, not good. But, of course, might see some of that as you get over to our friends in the West Coast, or in the western part of the nation. So they're up in Denver, over to Billings, and then over towards even California, seeing some of that wintry weather. And that's all thanks to this big area of low pressure right here, swirling its way right there. And that's allowing for this warmer air coming in out of the south. That's partially responsible for that warmer conditions we've been seeing across the area, and some of that cooler weather coming in from the north as you get over to along the west coast. As for our drought monitor, we do see some of those conditions were not really great, especially where those fire weather advisories are, especially across the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles right there, with that bullseye specifically in the far western portions of Oklahoma, and really across much of the western parts of the U.S. we're seeing those drought conditions, so not helping in any way. As for our dew points across the Big Bend area, here is that sea breeze right there making its way over the border into Georgia right there, and that's pretty evident with slightly muggier conditions along our area, but over towards Georgia seeing a little bit more in terms of dry conditions. But tonight's forecast, temperatures will be in the 50s, low 50s to be exact, so certainly really pleasant night out there. But of course, as we get into our weekend planner, it certainly will be very pleasant. Again, no need to worry about those icicles there. We'll see those hot temperatures continuing on through Monday. But now we'll turn things back over to the desk with people.
Thank you, Aaron. We've talked about a lot on this show, drastic differences between what's going on now and what we will have at the end of next week.
Yeah, so the beginning of the show, we're talking about how sunny it is and how it can be dry. And then now it's when it rains, it pours by this weekend.
Absolutely. So we saw those rain chances. They're going to pick up on Tuesday, and then they're going to steadily increase throughout the week, leading to a potential severe weather outbreak on the weekend.
Yeah, so I mean, the conditions are there. We have the big cold front moving in. We have some shear, and we have obviously warm temperatures that will be out ahead of the system. So there are some ingredients for severe weather.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter to stay updated if that does come by.
And of course, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/FSU weather.
You can also watch us live on YouTube every weeknight at 6 p.m.
And of course, follow us on Instagram. I'm sure you'll see some really cool pictures of some weather stuff.
Absolutely. So as we move into potentially some severe weather, we're hoping to get some in March. I know it excites us. However, we hope that you guys can stay informed and stay safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Stick with the National Weather Service. Follow TV. Stay safe. Anyways, I'm meteorologist Shane Wilder.
And I'm meteorologist Rebecca Darish. Have a great night, Tallahassee.